On your side, tracking severe weather.
Some strong to severe thunderstorms have been rumbling in our northwest area over the last hour or so. We're talking about you if you live in Lincoln County, northern Columbia County, Georgia, and also into McDuffie County too. There's a cluster of thunderstorms that's been persistent for the last hour or so, and we are expecting those to perhaps produce 40 to 60 mile-an-hour wind gusts as they move to the northeast. Notice Augusta will not be affected by that cluster of thunderstorms. It's going to stay to our northeast as it moves to the northeast at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. It's picking up speed just a bit. Now we're still looking for any hail or wind reports to come at us from the Weather Service. Haven't seen any severe reports yet, but still you're under the gun here if you live in portions of Lincoln County, Columbia County, northern Columbia County, and also parts of McDuffie County over the next half hour or so. A severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of 60 mile-an-hour winds, and also large hail can't be ruled out either. Current temperatures are widely ranging because some areas have rain, some don't. We'll talk more about temps and heat index levels coming up.
And a scorcher out there for a primary day in South Carolina. A number of key issues on the table for South Carolina voters.
You know, last week, Governor Nikki Haley reluctantly signed legislation to let the state borrow a lot of money, $2.2 billion, to jumpstart improvements to the state's deteriorating roads.
Leaders also pushing to bring in more business to boost the economy across the state. While voter turnout has been pretty dismal all day in this primary, the race for the State House District 81 seat is definitely one to watch.
Incumbent Don Wells is not seeking re-election, so Monique Williams is kicking off our coverage for us this evening. Live from Kennedy Middle School, heading into the final stretch of the voting, Monique.
That's right, Richard and Laura. What I can tell you is that I've been following all four Republican candidates, and I can tell you that the constituents of District 81 will not get a career politician as their representative in Columbia. That's because whoever wins today will go on to the runoff, but whoever wins essentially will be a newcomer to the state capitol. And all of the candidates tell me that actually works for them, because what they're hearing on the street is that folks are tired of career politicians. Now, again, we've been following these guys all week long, and local attorney Chris Austin, financial consultant Jeremy O'Donnell, businessman and veteran Bart Blackwell, and realtor and former Aiken GOP chair KT Ruffin all say infrastructure is a major concern, including South Carolina's roads. They think an improved infrastructure will lead to economic development, but they all have different ways on how to fund those improvements. O'Donnell and Blackwell favor an increased gas tax, while Ruffin says no to any state tax hike. Austin, meanwhile, is pushing for ethics reform.
This is important. District 81 is an important district, and who we send to the State House really will make a difference, I believe, in the lives of our citizens.
In the end, they're going to vote for the candidate that best represents their values and represents the District 81.
You know, Monique, a record 3 million people are registered to vote in South Carolina, but it looks like voters are staying home in record numbers today.
That's right, Richard, and I would guess that the rain probably had something to do with that. But we have seen a little more people trickling in, I guess, as people get off from work. But with primaries in only 3 of the state's 7 congressional districts, it has been quiet statewide all day long, and it probably will remain that way. Meanwhile, the runoff election is scheduled to take place on June 28th. For now, we're reporting live at Kennedy Middle School in Aiken. Monique Williams, on your side.
Thanks for that, Monique. That State House 81 race, pretty thick race. There's 4 people running. We also caught up with Chris Austin, Jeremy O'Donnell today vying for that seat. O'Donnell weighed in on the gas tax.
And my interest on raising the gas tax is specifically to shift the burden to out-of-state motorists and then use the cost savings to reduce taxes for South Carolinians.
And candidate Chris Austin focusing on conservation, roads, and ethics reform.
By the time that the roads are repaired, and then we're paying on this debt, they're going to come due again. And what are we going to do? Continue to borrow, and then just try and play the catch-up game.
Shifting locally now, there are 3 candidates running to serve you in Aiken County. Preston Willett live for us at New Beginnings Ministries in Beach Island, tracking County Council District 3.
Well, Richard, similar to Monique, there are very little people out here in the Valley region where we're looking at a big county council race for District 3. And now that District 3 race, 3 candidates running for the seat left vacant by Lawana McKenzie, who is not running this year. She will not seek re-election. Burnett Town Council member Danny Fagan says the current budget problems are a big problem that need to be looked at.
At the same time that the county needs to maintain a budget and not live beyond its means. That way we can continue to have keep our taxes low.
Keeping the taxes low, a big thing. Don Turno says the county also needs to keep younger people here in Aiken County.
We do compete with Augusta and for the economic development, but we also compete with Lexington County and Columbia County as far as where those people are going to live.
But of course, one of the biggest issues all year long for Aiken County has been what to do with Langley Pond and how to fund that, and that's another issue one of the candidates is looking at.
I was doing something I think that can help the valley. Langley Pond is an eyesore. I think we need to get on that. As we've waited a couple of years now trying to get all the people in line to get that fixed, and that needs to be expedited a little bit.
Now, this will be the first time in 32 years that this county council's District 3 seat is open. LaWanna McKenzie, again, not seeking re-election, but, you know, it'll be a tight one. Expected to go to a runoff with 3 candidates, all fresh faces. But you can see a couple people coming here to the polls right after work today. But tonight, for the candidates, as for themselves, no big gatherings planned. They'll either be at home or watching from the government center itself.
Seems like a pretty low-key race this year. Thanks for that update from the polls for us, Preston. Also on the ballot in Aiken County, 3 people running for coroner. That includes Tim Carlton, the current coroner, Clay Adams, and Thomas Scott. 2 others running for treasurer, Lee Bodie and Jason Goings. In the state Senate race, 2 Republicans are making their way across District 25 today.
That's right. We caught up with 9-year incumbent Shane Massey earlier today about why he's ready for another round in Columbia. He says there's still a lot more work to do. The biggest issue, he says, roads and bridges, no question about that. He says they made some progress, referring to the bill Governor Haley signed earlier to borrow $2.2 billion to improve roads. But he says ultimately they did not get the job done. We asked him what needs to be done.
That's the first thing. We've got to reform the department first because people need to feel better about the decisions that are being made. And then we got to figure out what the funding stream is going to be in order to fix the potholes and to repair the bridges and to widen the interstates. But, I mean, it's a big issue. It's an issue. I tell you, I hear about it more than any other issue that I've had to deal with in 9 years.
In fact, Massey says every time he checks his email, every time he gets a voicemail, there's something about the state of South Carolina roads. Today he made the rounds to all 5 counties in his district, hoping his record and his presence would help push voters out to the polls.
And up against Massey, John Pettigrew. We caught up with him today. He says people are ready for a change.
First course of action is to introduce term limits. Too many politicians get elected, they have good intentions, but they get comfortable in the job, they become part of the system.
In Barnwell, this is the first race for local leaders since they lost the only hospital in the county. That's the top issue on a lot of voters' minds as they head to the polls today. Logan Nestor talked to the candidates about the county's future in health care.
In January, Barnwell County's only hospital closed. 5 months later, it's still closed. Today's primary elections for county council give the people a chance to choose their leadership going forward for the first time since the hospital closed.
District 5 challenger Ben Kinlaw says the county's lack of a hospital is dire.
You start talking about life and death situation, you know, you're talking about seconds and minutes. And of course we have, a facility in Orangeburg, we have a hospital in Allendale, and then we have in Aiken, but there's still a lot of time.
Incumbent Joe Smith says the county is relying on urgent care centers until they can get an emergency facility.
We've provided them with monies to purchase a X-ray machine for that, and they're going to have extended hours. As soon as we can get a certificate of need, we're going to try to get an emergency care facility.
In District 3, Don Harper says losing a hospital hurts even more for a county that's already in decline.
Nobody that I know of in the industry is going to come in with a declining population and no emergency care facility. I think we need to fix some of the things that are wrong with the county and then attract industry.
Tim Bodiford wants to see an emergency room, but admits another hospital is unlikely.
And I look forward to working with that, with people in the emergency services industry. But the hospital, I don't ever see it opening up again.
While District 3 incumbent Keith Sloan says he's already working on a certificate of need to get an emergency room.
We're working with the state, regional hospital allies, and others to build an emergency care center in Barnwell.
One of the things we didn't hear, none of the candidates think there will be another hospital here at this location anytime soon. In Barnwell County, Logan Nestor on your side.
And our election team coverage will pick right back up at 7 o'clock as those polls shut down across South Carolina. We'll be tracking all the results online, on our website, on social media. We'll get you updates throughout the evening and, of course, a wrap-up on the 11 o'clock news. Hope to see you then.
Developing at 6 o'clock, one elderly man is dead after a shooting overnight near Samuel Street, just off Edgefield Road in North Augusta. The Aiken County coroner says 73-year-old J.C. Mims was shot in the torso and died at the hospital about 45 minutes after being found by someone passing by. Deputies still looking for any possible suspects.
Have you been on Washington Road lately? Major construction going on the old Berkmans Road right now, and you can see the frame of a brand new building is in the works going up right there where the road used to be. We're not sure officially what they're doing, but we've reached out to see what could be coming to Augusta National. But if you'll remember back last year, Chairman Billy Payne did announce a new media center with a promise to remove reporters to and from the course in less than a minute from that part of the golf course.
It could happen.
I wonder what he has in mind.
Yeah.
So we'll be watching to see
see.
if that's the new press building or something else.
We'll see. Continuing coverage straight ahead on the mass shooting at an Orlando nightclub, how a Georgia senator is reacting while the city of Augusta beefs up its security.
All this coming ahead of next Friday's Augusta Pride weekend, and commissioners want to make sure everyone here feels safe.
No ice. Ew. It's got to be glass, not a plastic cup, a glass, no ice, extremely cold. Cody, Mike shot.
1, 2, 3. Authorities say the list of victims who died in the Orlando shooting could
Authorities say the list of victims who died in the Orlando shooting could continue to grow as ones who were injured recover in the hospital now. Our D.C. Bureau caught up with Senator Johnny Isakson today, where he gave thanks to those doctors and first responders.
Still, the horror of the event, 49 innocent people losing their life, is just terrible.
A service for healing held by the Universalist Church of Augusta is set for Thursday night. The service will be held at their church near the Walton Way exit at 7 p.m.
That shooting also raising awareness for security in Augusta nightclubs. Law enforcement, bar patrons, owners all agree safety is the #1 priority. The number of people in a venue usually dictates the number of security guards required there.
Augusta Pride is expecting a lot of people on Broad Street and the Common next weekend. One commissioner says he expects to see more security as well. Cody O'Hara live for us in our newsroom with what he wants to make sure the county is doing.
Richard, Commissioner Grady Smith says with security concerns at LA Pride and the shootings in Orlando, he hopes there is a larger presence of security here. Augusta Pride is expecting up to 12,000 people downtown. They say it's an ongoing process of talking with the mayor's office and the sheriff's office to possibly bump up security if it's needed. More security does mean more money for additional deputies brought in to work the event, which would be paid for by Augusta Pride.
They do plan on releasing any specifics about what kind of security they're talking about, right?
Well, the president of Augusta Pride says they can't release any specifics of the security because that would be a security risk.
Makes sense. It's a fine line between what you can release, what you can hold off, but do expect tighter security at that event. Well, some pop-up storms today, really scorching hot weather out there. Kevin, what can we expect for the rest of the week?
Well, the chance of storms will return tomorrow afternoon. We've got some active ones out there right now. Tuesday until 6:30 p.m. Yes, that's for the next 15 to 20 minutes. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Lincoln County. More details on this heat coming up.
On your side with your hour-by-hour forecast.
We do have some strong thunderstorms rolling to the northwest of Augusta right now, and I have good news to report because the storms here in Lincoln County have weakened below severe limits. So the Weather Service has canceled the severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for Lincoln County, getting ready to move into McCormick County. So good news there. There still are some thunderstorms out there, and still the chance of a pop-up severe storm as we head through the afternoon and evening. So we don't want to let our guard down, but we also some of us are thinking, hey, give me the rain. I'll take my chances because it's so hot out there. I mean, right now we do have some thunderstorm activity south of Louisville, down near Swainsboro, Millen, a couple of showers. Most of our South Carolina counties are quiet right now. So most of our area is not getting the rain that would be nice to cool us off. But once again, it comes with a threat of severe weather. The rain does, at least for the rest of today and into this evening through about the midnight hour. The severe weather outlook includes all of the CSRA for that chance of 40 to 60 mile-an-hour wind gusts and some heavy rain and lightning too. Probably some lightning associated with this storm here on our Georgia Ave live eye camera. Looking off to the west, man, we've got some pretty good thunderstorms out there, and people that are seeing those storms are saying, hey, bring them my way, we'll cool it down here, because when you have a thunderstorm over you, it'll drop your temp by about 15 to 20 degrees in just minutes, and that's what a lot of us need on a day like this. 91 is the temperature in Augusta, 73 is the dew point. It's cooled off from earlier. earlier, thanks to some recent rain. We did hit 97 earlier here in the Garden City. Here are your current temperatures. They've cooled down with rain across the region and some clouds too, but still pretty hot out there, near 90 in most areas. Look at the heat index levels. They're still above 100 degrees in some spots. It feels like 99 in Augusta. Now, the peak heat index in Augusta today was 106. It happened a few hours ago. Look at the expected peak heat index for the next few days. Yeah, between 100 and 105. So similar conditions expected for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And also a decent chance of storms tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that right now in your hour-by-hour forecast, starting you at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning with a humid start to your day. Temps in the 70s for wake-up. As we head toward noontime tomorrow, temperatures will be pushing 90 degrees. Probably won't be quite as hot as it was today, maybe 2 or 3 degrees cooler, but can you feel the difference? Probably not. Chance for some afternoon storms for us tomorrow, just like today. A couple of them could be strong to severe, but for the most part, garden variety storms expected tomorrow with hot, humid weather too. Forecast for tonight, through about the midnight hour, there'll be a chance for an isolated or passing shower or storm. 72 for the eventual overnight low, muggy out there tonight. Tomorrow, a warm start and a hot finish, 94 degrees, kind of like today, just subtract a couple of degrees on the heat and a good chance of afternoon storms tomorrow. Really, the next few days are going to be hot and humid, but less of a chance of storms on Thursday and Friday. Friday looks like the scorcher, close to 100, then a big cool down for the upcoming weekend, and it looks dry too.
On to sports now, a long list of teams kicking off NFL mini camps.
Both the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons among those squads. And after day one, Panthers coach a little harsh on the new guys, while the Falcons are full of smiles as day one wraps up. Which one is the better move? Details next in sports.
Tell me more. Okay.
On your sideline, sports.
86 days until the NFL season kicks off. Panthers head coach Ron Rivera has that number stamped in his head. Proof coming soon. Both the Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers enter their mandatory minicamps on Tuesday afternoon. We'll start with the defending NFC champions. Carolina will have plenty of high expectations for a repeat Super Bowl visit. After the first day of minicamp, if things don't change, don't expect to see any rookies on the field. Coach Rivera was quick to call out his first-year guys.
To see the mistakes that were made on very basic things, it really disappoints me more than anything else. And I just wanted to make sure they all understood that, and I reminded them we play in 86 days.
Do you have a calendar or something, or some sort of countdown that you keep checking off, or is it just in your head? Yeah.
Okay, give me a little credit. There's two sides to this game. You know, it's actually going out and playing the game, and if you're not, they're just like it being a business, they'll get rid of you. So, you know, you got to capitalize on your opportunity when it comes.
One guy capitalizing on his opportunity, a name you may have never heard before, Duke grad Braxton Devers. The tight end's currently on a tryout, but after much praise from Coach Rivera, he's making a case for a roster spot. Atlanta getting underway for their mini camp as well. Matt Ryan and the Falcons to forget a 2015 collapse. Start fresh under Coach Dan Quinn for his second season. Unlike the Panthers, the Falcons leader Matt Ryan was impressed with how things went after their first day at camp.
Yeah, I thought there was really good competition. Guys are flying around. I like where we're at, and you know, now the challenge is to be better at it tomorrow and be better Thursday.
How about this as a welcome into minicamp? 1 month after Coach Quinn surprised Matt Ryan and the team with the casual Navy SEAL training, he's back at it again. This time the rookies went through the same strenuous exercise. There should be no excuses as far as physical shape for Atlanta this fall. The U.S. Open is back at Oakmont Country Club this week, one of the most grueling courses in all of golf. Oakmont has held this event 8 previous occasions, 2007 being the last time when Angel Cabrera won with a 5 over par. Even the top-ranked golfers in the world are not shy to express their concerns heading into the tournament, although the big three, Rory, McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, and Jason Day, all have wins in the past month. They're quick to acknowledge, despite momentum, just how difficult it will be to take home this major.
This is one tournament that is very stressful, and I feel like I thrive under stress, and hopefully I can do that this year.
Like excitement is a good way to describe Augusta, but this week it's definitely, yeah, it's not excitement. I don't. It's definitely not that.
Arguably the best trio tee time at 8:34, and Rory goes off with Ricky Fowler and Masters champ Danny Willett. Jason Days with Louis Oosthuizen and Adam Scott at 2:20 p.m. Finally, we saw the Andy Reid lookalike last year, and now we have the Ichiro twin. This guy's in the crowd, and apparently he's bringing great luck because Ichiro last night, 3 hits, an RBI, and a big win for the Miami Marlins. So this guy's just, he's got it down.
So he's in the crowd, and he just mimics everything he does.
He's just mimicking everything.
He looks pretty close.
Very accurate.
Pretty good doppelganger. Yeah, they say everybody has a twin.
Guys, the storms to our north have weakened, but now storms to our south are strengthening. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It is for Emmanuel County until 7:15. Those storms are moving to the northeast. Wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour possible, and isolated storms for the rest of the afternoon.
Popping up all around us. That's going to do it for News 12 and NBC 26. Good to have you with us this evening.
Your network news is next, and we're back with a wrap of election coverage at 11.